Hey guys, it's Tiny Tom Logan back with another video for you. Just for all those regulars out there, to let you know why there's been a little bit of a gap. I have been a little bit under the weather, but we'll cover that in a video later on in the week. Today we're going to be taking a look at the NZXT H2. H2, basically the name comes from because they say this is their second generation hush. But again, we'll talk more in details about this later on. If you can hear any noise in the background, I have kind of rejigged the office a bit so that I can get more done. So I'm currently testing something in the background. And before you all start getting excited, no, it's not the 590. That video is done, dusted, the review is ready. So anyway, yeah. So yeah, we're going to take a look at this. Now I'm going to do most of this with the camera in my hand and give you a look around, and then we'll kind of wrap up and talk about everything towards the end of the video, and you'll get my kind of in-depth thoughts on it. I have got quite a lot of thoughts on it as well. But anyway, what I'm going to do is straight away I'm going to pop you off the tripod, bring you in for a close look, and we'll have a look round and we'll talk about the features as we go along. Right then guys, as I said, it is, we are in a kind of stranger part of the room this time. Just moved everything around. I am kind of testing something over there and keeping it out of shot. In fact, I'm going to walk over and I'm going to end this. Just a fan spin down a bit. And then I'm going to turn back around this way and I'm not going to let you see what it was. Right. So, yes, having a look at this. This front panel, it looks like it's brushed aluminium, but it's not, it's just plastic. And you've got a little cutout here, which is where the power light is for. Now, we've got a doored panel with foam on the other side, but I've got to let you know that that's all the airflow there is for that front panel. There's no, you know, kind of massive cutout at the bottom of the door. There's a little bit there, but not a massive amount. It's really, there's not a great deal of airflow in the front. Now, while we're at the front, you can see there's 220mm fans, and this pretty much is my favourite part of the case, because you can take these two fans out like this, and it comes out, but with no wires. It's actually got these little hot swap sections, so you don't have to mess about with any wires or anything like that, and that's probably my favourite part of the case. The hard drive, they're removable from the front. There's no hot swap or anything there, so it's pretty much tool free, hard drive in, clip clop, slide in, job done, and then attach from the back. But both the front 120, sorry, have that hot swap feature on that side, and then you've got toolless optical connectors, which they're not, they're just, it's all plastic, and I mean like real bendy plastic. This whole front section is this horrible rough kind of plastic as well. I've got to say as well, this foam on the door, even this, it's just got this horrible kind of cheap feeling to it. It's just, it's a type of foam, the only way I can explain it is like the 199 sets of in-your-ear headphones that you can buy. That's what this foam feels like it's made out of. Right, moving down to the bottom, we've got like a plinth there. It lifts the bottom of the case off the floor, and I'll show you the dust filter at the bottom in a sec. But if we crack up onto the top, the power and the reset buttons are like a rubber, and they've got a real nice kind of positive click to them. I actually quite like the buttons. Then you've got the normal kind of headphones, microphone, USB 3 port, 3 USB 2s, and then a fan controller. This is all good, I quite like this, but the rest goes wrong with this. I mean, I know hard drive docking bays are becoming quite popular, but not being funny, it's just a horrible plastic top and then just a cavern underneath. Just looks like an afterthought. And this is actually, this next bit is the worst part of the case. Basically this is covering up a fan grill, but it's magnetic and it takes ages to get it where you think it should go, but then you've only got to brush it and it moves, and it's not very nice at all. But then another thing is the cover that is holding. I'm going to put my hand inside. It's just a round hole. As you can see, I put my hand on the other side. It's just a round hole with a bit of mesh on the top. Now, if we compare this to the R3 from Fractal, this is all punched. So it's actually punched into the normal roof. And then you have that blank that comes up from behind with all the padding on it as well. So it's not only sound deadened, but you can blank it off if you want, and you get the nice grill. Now this grill is just a cheap add-on. Honestly, this kind of circle hole with the fan holes and then just chucking some mesh on top, and then with a crappy kind of plastic cover with some magnets on it. It's like it's an afterthought. Yeah, it's almost like design my first case. I actually despise this part. I'm going to talk to you more about it later, but to be perfectly honest with you, I'm really disappointed about this side, this kind of feature. Yeah, it's horrid. Right, door panel, nice kind of plain door panel, could be ripe for some modding, but I'm not sure whether the camera's going to pick it up. But the powder coat, it's textured, but the problem with textured powder coat is you've either got to do it really well or don't do it at all and just go with the normal satin, and this does just feel cheap. I mean, the door panel flexes as it is, skin marks, do you know what I mean? You can just run your hand along it and mark the door with your skin, and they've like nail marks and stuff. I mean, look, and it's marked. Do you know what I mean? That's pretty much now ruined the case. But aren't you going to do that when you're using it at home? It's just, yeah, I'm really not impressed at all. Anyway, we'll take the door off, which has got more of the 199 earphone foam on it. Do you know what I mean? It's really not that great at all. I suppose it's better than nothing, but it's not brilliant. Now, inside, you can see at the bottom you've got obviously some rubber padded areas for your power supply, and then you've got the availability of putting a 120mm fan here, but there is a fan filter, which is always nice. Now, find some good things to say. All the cables are black. You've got black individual wires here for all the Molexes and everything like that. So they do deserve props for that. I do like that kind of feature. Now something else, I don't want to sound kind of like I'm moaning loads, but ATX board is going to come to about here on your case. Now if I find my ruler quickly, you're going to have, before the back of your hard drive, probably about 270mm. It is there, 270mm. But what we need to remember is if you use this for all these hard drives, all of these hard drives are then going to need power cables coming out of them, and then also going into your case. So everything's going to be very exposed. You're going to have to spend a lot of time getting all your SATA cables and everything tidy. And it really, do you know, it's not going to be something, if you're planning on using a lot of these, it's either going to be messy or you're going to have to take some time on it. Bearing in mind that all of the intake airflow, yes I did say all, comes from the front of the case with these fans, with this very slim cutouts are going to be coming across your hard drives. so you're going to have to be very careful. Obviously it can draw in air from the bottom, but there's no fan there, so the actual airflow itself is going to be coming from the front. So if you do have your hard drives and stuff, you're going to have to make sure that you keep everything really tidy, because it's already quite restricted. Now these are quite a nice feature because we've got all of the thumb screws there, like for your hard drives and stuff, so you can lock these hard drive bays into place. And we've also got some thumb screws should you want to lock off your optical bays in the top. Anyway, I was trying to show you the tallest bays, but this one seems to have jammed. Oh, there we go. Well, I've broke it. Never mind. Now, the NZXT fans, I am actually quite a fan of these, because they do move a fair amount of air and stay quite quiet. And the fact that it comes with 3 fans is pretty good. We've got some water cooling grommets here, although these really aren't that big. You might just get some 1/2 inch hose through there, but yeah, they're not that massive, to be perfectly honest with you. It's nice to see a decent sized CPU cutout, so that's pretty good. Gives you a little bit of extra room. As you can see here, these are all for the back of the board, and they're all clipped so that you can clip all your cables up all nice and tidy. There's plenty of those scattered about, and if you have a look, most of the cable holes are grommeted as well, so that's fairly good. So there we go. Now I'm going to pop you back on the tripod and we'll get this wrapped up. Right then guys, let me try and explain a little something to you. I know I'm harsh on cases, so generally if I say I like a case, then there's normally pretty massive reasons for it. I did like the Phantom, so before people start going on about, you know, I mean, it's a brand thing, it's not. Basically, with Time to Live, that originally started was me building custom rigs for people, and I am kind of overly pernickety with that kind of thing anyway. I was always looking for the right case, and I'd spend ages looking for a case with the right features and would allow me to do the right things with it. So I've spent a lot of time hands-on building rigs, so generally when I have something like this, I can look at it and I can see problems straight away. Sometimes stuff that with other sites or whatever they would never come across, or they would never come across unless they built it. I can look and I can see problems and ways around them and everything like that within about 5 or 10 minutes of just looking at the case. Now that's just the way I am, the way I work. It's nothing to do with anybody else. So with this, I instantly started picking it apart. Now the problem is, yes, it looks a lot like the R3, to the point where I'd almost say it's a kind of R3 that they've tried to adapt a bit with a different OEM. But the problem is they've not done it very well. Now the front kind of hot swap fans, I love. That bit's brilliant. The fact that you can take the hard drives in and out from the front is quite good, but when you think about it, where there's no hot swap at the back, you might think that, you know, oh, I can just pull the fan out and rip the hard drive out, but you can't really, because the cables are all going to be on the inside that you're going to have to take apart anyway. So you're going to have to take the side panel off, take the cables off, then open the door, take the fan out, pull that. So it's not as straightforward as you would just think. So in that respect, it's all right, but it's not brilliant. But really, where this case lets itself down is kind of the quality and the design. It's like the NZXT cases of old. I mean, the old ones were just kind of full of plastic and stuff, but the actual build quality on the inside design was cheap. It just felt cheap. Now that's kind of where I'm feeling with this. The powder coat really isn't great. the plastic, I've actually found loads of points on the plastic front where you can see where it's been moulded and they've snapped the edges off. Now there's loads of points on this, and one of them's right on the top as well, where it's like a mould point where they've, like I said, where they've broken it off. There's quite a few bits like that. Now the front is just, again, because of the texture of the plastic, it does feel cheap. The edges aren't smooth, they're quite kind of, you know, real angular and sharp. It just, the whole kind of design part of it does feel really quite cheap, and it's just, yeah, I'm just not impressed, and I've still not been able to get this bloody side thing to work properly. And yeah, they're bad, these toolless clips. You saw me pull one out just a minute ago. The cables inside are good, do you know what I mean? There's a nice quality there, they're all black, so you're going to be able to hide them well. The grommets, that side of it's quite good. And there is a fair bit of room behind the motherboard tray as well. But there's only places to put cables through these grommets. You can't kind of hide them really anywhere else, everything else is kind of blocked off. The fact that all the hard drive cables are going to be very exposed as well. You'll find it difficult with big power supply, not power supplies in there, graphics cards in there, especially if you've got lots of hard drives in there as well. And this top panel, I mean, this is just the height of cheap. This, to be quite honest with you, is something that I would expect to see on a cheap, and I mean cheap, thermal tape case. I mean, I've just pulled that bit of mesh off there. The fact that it's just a circle hole with a bit of mesh chucked on the top, and then a plastic panel with some magnets on it, is just the height of cheap bodge, really. It really does look like a rush kind of afterthought. They'd been much better off with a punched mesh panel up there or something, and then like the R3. This is the problem, it's so similar to the R3, but the R3 is a real high build quality. The design and the features all work and work really well, everything fits together lovely, that when you make something like this you've got to go the extra mile to make it better. And all NZXT have done is make something that looks like it but is cheaper and comes nowhere near the quality of the R3. It's, to be perfectly honest, it's a big letdown. And I'm not going to sit here bashing it and stuff like that, but my honest opinion is, if you were looking at this case, now go and look at the Fractal R3, especially the white one, because that one's lovely, I do like the white one. But go and look at the Fractal R3, because to be perfectly honest, if you were going to buy this, or are going to buy this, the Fractal is the case that you actually want. It's so much better than this, as a whole package. So, sadly, NZXT, you did amazingly well with the Phantom, you did great with the Hale power supplies, you had such a head of steam going, and you've gone back to bringing out something that's just not brilliant. So, as far as I'm concerned, you've kind of lost that momentum now. I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have to bring something amazing out, and this definitely wasn't something amazing. Score out of 10 because I like the way the fan's going at the front. I'll give it a very generous 5. Awards, probably. I think I'm going to have to start making kind of like, you know, substandard awards, because this would probably get the wide berth award, as in dodge it, miss it. It's really not one to be had. So yeah, sadly guys, it's a bit of a negative review from me, but this is just not my cup of tea at all. It's really not made me, it's not, the fact that I've not wanted to build anything in it should kind of show you that it's really not really worth bothering with. So sadly, NZXT, yeah, it's not been a good one this time. Quite happy to come and pick it up as well if you want, because I don't want it. Anyway, this is Tiny Tom Logan with another video for you, and believe me, I am going to get an immense amount of abuse about this on MSN when they see this video. Out.